Go. Hey everyone, this is your favorite dynamic duo, Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and
Carmia Wells and Unorthodox Southern Belle.
And today we are going live. We are going to be talking about a very, very powerful podcast, not a new podcast, an existing podcast that is taking the Caribbean and the world by storm. And we got our favorite people. We love them. Carmia, I love them. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. I love it. This is about to be a party up in here today.
I am with you. These two are the hostesses of the Same Difference podcast, but they're doing something unique. They're changing the absolute game of podcasts, and then they're putting a different spin. They're putting their own island flavor on the mix. And so they just recently had their Same Difference and Friends launch episode, and that was absolutely phenomenal. And we are going to talk about it here today on the Gentleman Style Podcast, and we're gonna get some tea from them, and we're gonna get the sauce, and we're gonna do some recapping tonight to talk about how it went. So, without further ado, we can't hold these incredible people back. First, coming to the stage, we got the incredible, amazing Jah.
You okay now? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, and my personal favorite, next to Carmia, of course, the powerful, the people's champ, the dynamic hostess with the Moses. This lady is
I know that's right. Bring the Virgo in.
Another Virgo.
Bring it in.
Toxic femininity.
We're not gonna start. We're not gonna do that. Not today.
Help me introduce this powerhouse, incredible woman. I love her. Y'all love her. The people's champ, Neci.
Good night.
Welcome, family, to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. And we wanted to dive deep with you all and dive into your Same Difference and Friends release launch this year. This year. And that y'all just recently did in April, at the end of April. First off, I want to ask, what inspired to do it different in the podcast game? Because traditionally podcasting is, you're on camera, they're on camera, maybe across the room, but y'all did an actual live with viewers and guests and people speaking and everything. What inspired this?
What inspired it? I'm gonna be honest. It was the Tonight's Conversation podcast shows, and I was like, back home we have a bunch of podcasts now in the Virgin Islands, and we usually, the events like the nightlife is relatively the same. It's fetes, jams, and stuff like that. And I wanted to bring something else because I wanted to start up something where grown folks could go to, sit down, have a drink, and talk about what they want to talk about. So that's basically where it came from.
That makes sense. And so having that experience, so I agree with you. Tonight's Conversation, if you don't know, there are podcasts that's also blowing up. I think in the Atlanta market. I'm not really sure where they're from or what's going on with it. Hey, Doc, what's going on? But yeah, Same Difference, Tonight's Conversation, two powerhouse podcasts, and that is huge. And that is a huge inspiration to a lot of us podcasters. Give us hope, because we need to be having real life conversations, and we have to be asking the hard questions. And so, Neci, you looked incredible at the event. You looked absolutely fantastic at the event. You killed it. But I surprised, I think, both of you, because I actually showed up. I snuck in through the back door. I ain't buy a ticket. No, I'm just playing. I bought a ticket. But Neci, tell us, how was that experience for you? Because I'm sure you've spoken at other places, but how unique was that experience at the Same Difference and Friends event?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it very much. I was the moderator for the event, so I was kind of keeping the guests, the flow of the conversation going and making sure that we're progressing in the conversations. For me, I enjoyed it very much, primarily because I wasn't on camera. and I was just able to kind of just moderate off the side. That's just my safety zone or my comfort zone. But I did enjoy doing it. I had a good time. It was a great conversation. I know we got into a lot of good topics. We had a lot of good answers, and I mean, I'm sure we're gonna do another one soon.
Love it. Love it. Tell me real quick, and then I'm gonna jump back to Jah. What was your favorite part of the event?
My favorite part was that it flowed well, that people were very open to giving their perspectives and their opinions on certain topics. There was some there were some big controversial conversations, and that people were very stern about making their points on. And then there were things that we see the difference in a point of view from a local standpoint versus an American standpoint, or just dating perspective. So it gave us a range, I should say, of answers, and I was very glad to see that the guests were prepared as well as the crowd to participate, because I had to hold them back there. You couldn't see that, but they were kind of rowdy back there. I mean, Marcus, you saw that, but they were kind of getting a little rowdy back there, which is what we wanted to happen, is the participation and the camaraderie of the conversation.
Absolutely. I did see the crowd. And I was amongst them, and I was walking amongst them, and it was a lot of fun. Two things I wanna touch on. Yes, the participation was dope, the audience was dope, and there was some drama. And I was so glad. I was so happy to be here. I have a sneak peek of this clip. So let's play the clip here for everyone so we can see.
But I think it's putting a lot on that one person to think that. And that's another reason why I say marriage is forever, right? There's ups, downs, y'all gonna meet in the middle. Sometimes y'all gonna be off, just because we all learn, grow, and mature during those periods.
So if we can't be with one person, what's wrong with
I didn't say it's impossible.
No, but I'm saying, but this is where they're going to lunch and having other experiences to oppose for that. If there's someone else that can help fill that void, but in a non-sexual way, it's just lunch. And sometimes we need conversation with other people outside of the relationship.
The problem comes in when, if we agree to be monogamous, you're now breaking the agreement. That's my problem. If we agreed that this is what we do, then that's the agreement.
Mm.
You muted.
Mm.
That was the highlight of my night. And so, Ja, explain what the heck happened with that, because you launched a straight narcissist off into the crowd. Can you explain, first off, 2 points? What was your favorite part? And then, because that was my favorite part. And then 2, explain that clip.
My favorite part was actually gaining the audience participation, because what people don't understand, right? I am a host of a show, and I know some things I say is gonna get you riled up. So because it's a show, I had to get audience participation. Up until like prior to this, maybe 1 or 2 people had come up, but I wanted to get more. So what had happened was, right before this clip, a topic of going out to lunch with a coworker came up, right? And if you're from the Virgin Islands, there's a lot of restrictions when you're dating or you with someone. Like dancing it could be a problem if you dance with someone else. If you're seen at the movies in the Virgin Islands with somebody, people gonna talk and they're gonna say you're there together. So the lunch thing, that came up, and I knocked a water bottle. I hit a water bottle off the table in front of me into the crowd when I was explaining my side. Like, if I see you out eating lunch, like, I gonna come and start knocking off the table. You know what I'm saying? and that sparked participation. And what you see, because we really weren't talking about the lunch thing at this point. In that clip, we weren't talking about it, but you see it came back up though.
It came back up. I love that. I love the animation that she did. I love the lunch conversation. I love dialogue about it because he erupted. That girl, actual another influencer, crashed the party, and she she had some words. She had some words, and I got a similar clip. Unfortunately, I didn't catch her, but I got a clip of a live reaction, similar to what she did. So check this out, y'all. This is how the girl reacted.
There are no further objections.
I object. I object to the silencing of scientists. I am very, very sorry to interrupt your night and this amazing performance. I am a theater artist. I work in this theater professionally. Our water is poisoned. The doctor is correct. Our water is poisoned. The oceans are acidifying. The oceans are rising. I'm putting my career on the line because we are.
If I may, because you had asked me a question and I don't think I answered it. My favorite part of the show was we had a married couple up there. They've been married for a while. And the guy, he was on the hot seat with his wife pretty much the whole show because
Whew.
something came up about him not remembering their anniversary, and a story came up from them. Of course, they got a lot of stories, and he actually had to get it tattooed on his arm because he couldn't remember it, so he got a tattoo. And I think that was my favorite part because everything he said after that was kind of like, hey, he gonna get a whole sleeve by the time this is done. I think that was their interactions was my favorite. As far as what happened in the crowd after the water bottle, I think Nici's probably who you should talk to about what happened.
Yes, Nisi, you were in the crowd, you were in the audience, so you felt the heat, that lady's passion, her rage, her frustration with it. So, from your standpoint, what was it like?
I would say it's her passion. I wouldn't call it her rage. I think, I know Jah, and I know he's going to incite something. I wasn't expecting that, but I know it was going to cause a stir, and it was a good stir. There was a lot of murmurs and side conversations happening in the crowd. And she had a few points to say. I think she wanted to respond to John. You couldn't do it in real time. So she was just kind of like congestively building up to something. And she was like, I had enough. This is it. I'm going to say something because the battle was too much. But it was fun. It was good fun and good humor. And people really, this lunch thing is crazy to me. But, to each their own. Wish everybody the best. But it was good. I don't think she was angry. I just think she really wanted to. She had a few things to say, and I guess at some point she just kind of had, before she forgot, she wanted to get it all out, and she had to leave as well. So she wanted to get what she had to say off before she left.
Ain't that
Okay.
Yeah, I was called several
passionate.
names.
He was called
a lot of names.
narcissist. He was called narcissist. He was called abusive, controlling. All the
If
things.
you see how he knocked that bottle off that table.
So, Jah, you was playing devil's advocate for most of the show.
I wasn't going
Got
home with him. Security.
Now, Nisi did okay. There were two people on stage. I was one of them that they thought were going to incite stuff, right? Nisi made it clear, I don't want you two sitting together. However, we ended up sitting together, me and Candice, because the shuffle happened, and then I ended up sitting next to Candice, right? So they knew something was going to happen. When I did it, I was joking.
I knew from the jump.
I was joking. Like, I'm not, if I see you out, I might walk past you and like, let you know that I'm here. I'm not going to start flipping your lasagna. You know what I'm saying? But they really took it to heart. Like, oh no, he's dangerous. You need to lock this man up. And
lock him up.
What a gentleman might not say, he had to come to your boy rescue, did he?
I did. So I had to represent the family name. I had to stand up for my big brother. So absolutely, it was getting funny. It was getting. She stormed out. She left, and I can't let that stand because the way the women were talking about him, calling him narcissist, calling him a this, calling him a that in the audience, I'm like, nah. And what I wanted to say and what I wanted to point out is that it is his boundary, right? That is Jah's boundary, and everybody has a boundary that you should not cross in a relationship. And so he was sharing his boundary that he tells you up front. Now, if you still choose to cross that boundary, that was a choice. But he lets you know what line not to cross. And so when it comes to those things in relationship, y'all have to really reconnect your minds and really reconsider, hey, when I'm in a relationship, there are too many single people wanting to be in a monogamous relationship. That mindset does not work in a relationship, right?
Facts.
You can't do your own thing because now you're connected with someone who that can impact, right? What you do, if I'm dating Carmia the model, there are certain things I cannot post on social media because the questions are going to come back to her. I am a representation of my wife. My wife is a representation of me. And so this whole mindset, I gonna do what I want. You can't tell me what to do. This is why what happened to Steph Curry and his wife happened. This is why things like your wife on OnlyFans, and I'm an NBA player, and my wife has an OnlyFans account to make money as if we're struggling. Because you have too many single people wanting to be in a relationship, but still do their own thing. And that's what I simply said to back up my brother. So yeah, I'll take that. I'll fucking take that. Y'all could tell I've been practicing. I've been watching Neci's clips.
You've been holding on to that speech for a minute. I can see you was practicing a little speech just now. You had that loaded and ready to go. I see you. I feel.
Had the chamber one. So that's instantly a short reel. This is our call-in episode, y'all. Call in, join in the fun, and let's talk about the same difference in friends' life. By the way, forgive me. Shout out to Lotus Flowerbomb, Candice and her husband, and Dating by Daren.
No.
My bad. What was it?
Candice Cave, right? And the couple was Wilbur and Bianca Francis. So
my bad.
And date like Daren. Yeah. Sorry for the confusion. She's not married.
Forgive me, but shout out to them. Shout out to a dynamic panel. We got some more clips that was very instrumental in the conversation, very fun. I like the way Neci moderated the team, and she really allowed people to really get their questions out and their feelings out. We also talked about a topic of how to raise children and instill values and beliefs into your children. And so I want to talk about that. I want to share that clip so we could discuss. So here it is.
I tell them, I've even told them, you should date multiple people, go out in groups. Don't be putting all your eggs in one basket, because I don't believe in it. Because you waste a lot of time doing the one. So it's not what a lot of Caribbean men would teach their daughters, but I would talk to my daughters the same way I would talk to a son. Like, I expect the same from both. So it's unconventional, but I try to show them more than tell them, because children these days, they're living in a different time. They're living with a lot of different, technology, and everything is fast paced. And I didn't have to deal with it, so I can't really tell them how to live and deal with it, because everybody, it seems like, is doing things at earlier ages.
I definitely agree with that.
Really? How so?
Well, I'm sorry if I heard correctly. You said that Jah, you was talking about it's okay to put eggs in one basket. I mean, sorry, you're putting it in separate baskets. Or Jah, go ahead, clarify that for me before I answer.
Okay, let me clarify. What I was trying to say basically is that I do tell my daughters to date. Go out in groups.
Okay. Yeah.
And where it's safe and stuff, and get to know people, because that's what dating is. Don't just spend all your time with one person.
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I do agree with that. As long as, and I've had this talk with Marcus prior. As long as honesty is something that you discuss with that person that you're dealing with, so they know what's up in the beginning, that you're not the only person that I'm talking to, that I'm dating. So it's out there on the table. And I expect that from men and women, but unfortunately, people are not, being honest up front, even for our age range. That's a lot of the problem, and they're going through it a lot more now too, especially with social media. You got so much stuff hitting the younger generation. It's social media, in person. The people in person are not being upfront. The people on social media are not being upfront. Like everybody's playing everyone, so nobody knows who's really dealing with who. It's real confusing. But I do support dating different people, but just be upfront about it. Don't let that person feel like, oh, I'm the only one. No, don't lie to them like that.
I'm heartbroken.
But everybody,
I'm heartbroken. I'm all heartbroken about it because man, I'm not.
About what?
So, but if they're upfront with you, Marcus, about dating other people, then you know what's up. Okay, then that's you. At least you had the chance to be told the truth, so you had the chance to move how you want to move. If you're dating other people, then let me know. Let me know, and I'll give you that that comfort, so you know as well. But like, you can date other people as well. You in the running, just like I'm in the running.
So you don't agree? You running from the thirsty games? You don't want no parts of Survivor?
No, that you for the streets? No. No. I don't subscribe to dating multiple people at the same time. I've said that I've said that numerous times on the show. And so that part of the show, of the Same Difference in Friends show, I disagree with entirely. But again, I didn't want to get kicked out and thrown out. So I didn't speak to that part or speak on it. But dating multiple people is still wrong.
I believe honesty is definitely key. But like I said prior to, well, I was the type of person, if I'm dating one person, I'm dating one person, because I get confused. I don't want to be talking to Jimmy and I have to call you John. I don't ever want the type of issues.
You wouldn't have that issue if you just dated one person.
That's absolutely false. You don't have. You know how many issues? Listen, how many single people do you know of right now that like tired because they go from one person, they date maybe a couple months, and then they stop, then they find another one. Like, you know what the problem is with that? Time is finite. And when you date or you're in long relationships, have you ever
We have a caller calling in to the Gentleman Style Hotline. So let me switch this up.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
This is jail.
We on a budget.
Don't do that.
Hi, this is Marcus, the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Who do we have on the line, and where are you calling from?
This is Candice, and I'm calling from all over the world. But I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to say this. How you gonna go from saying Jah's boundary is that he doesn't want his person to date, go out on dates, on lunch dates with their person, right? That's his boundary in dating. He stated it up front. But if a person tells you that they want to date multiple people up front, that they belong to the street, isn't that their boundary or the expectations that they set for their relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you're choosing not to deal with it.
Choosing not to deal with it. Just like that's my boundary.
That's okay, but then you can't.
But why they gotta be put in the streets is what she's saying.
I absolutely can make a judgment on you. Yeah, I'm dating you. What the fuck?
But what I'm saying
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
We didn't want, you didn't want people to judge Jah and call him a narcissist based off of their beliefs, but based off of your beliefs, you're saying that they belong to the street. You see how that's like, you're in two places right now. I'm gonna need you to pick one.
I could absolutely have a standard, and I can defend my family. Yes, that's also another standard.
No. I'm not saying not to have a standard. I'm saying we should have our standards, but we should also not have judgment on other people. No,
right?
That's not a fair assessment.
How the hell do you date and not judge the person you're dating with?
Well,
okay. You don't have to date them. If they tell you up front,
exactly why I walked away. Exactly why I walked away. I chose not to date you.
But we don't cast stones at them after we decided not to date them, right? We just decided that that's the person that's not for us, and we move on.
So the problem definitely I'm hearing is the for the streets thing.
Sure.
Is that
She's
the
stuck on the
problem
fact
for
that
the
I said
streets
for the
thing?
streets. That's sure. I hear you. Got it.
I mean, I'm not stuck on anything. I'm just saying that we need to pick a side. Like, what side of the fence we gonna be on? Either we gonna judge people based off of their beliefs, or we're not gonna judge people based off of their beliefs. We're gonna just let them do what they do, right?
Hey,
No?
she's not wrong.
Maybe?
Yes, Daren, you put it in streets, sir.
Daren is
The
absolutely for the
concrete,
streets.
I
the
mean,
sidewalk, all of it.
I don't date. I refuse to date monogamously, but I also don't feel like I need to sleep with everybody that I'm dating. So I'm not in the streets, but I will hang out on the sidewalk. I don't see nothing wrong with being on the sidewalk.
Hey, I know that's right. Sidewalk. You out the street, you still safe. You still safe though.
Hold up,
You're
we
on the
got some
sidewalk.
pedestrians around here. We got some pedestrians on the sidewalk. Okay, so what is for the streets? I thought it meant you were sleeping with a whole bunch of people, but dating does not mean you're sleeping with a whole bunch of people.
Exactly, and that's what I want us to differentiate. Like, dating multiple people doesn't mean that you're sleeping with multiple people. It means that you're getting to know multiple people. You don't have to sleep with everybody, and you also can sleep with whoever you want to. Like, it's your body, it's your choice, and it's also like Carmela. That's your name, Carmela. Sorry, I don't know.
Camilla.
You're good. You're good.
Camilla, sorry. It's fair, but it's fair to tell the person up front and be honest so that they know what they're walking into. Because once they say they date multiple people, the next question you should ask is, do you also sleep with multiple people? Because that's gonna be that might potentially be a different answer.
I don't particularly care if you slept with all of them or not, because I don't really care. What I care about, what I know is there are diseases and STDs that I can catch without having sex, especially in the age of COVID when you got people sneezing on you, holding hands. So the fact that you're holding hands with 7 other dudes bothers me. The fact that, yes, you may not be fucking them, but you are touching them, you're hugging them, you're kissing them. It don't have to be sexual to catch a sexually transmitted. I don't go to the club. I don't go to the club.
Wait a minute. The gentleman getting turned up here. What is in that gummy, sir?
The Diaz coming out.
I don't go to the club. So that whole point about being around people.
You know, slap it off the damn table.
Absolutely. My brother is right. Absolutely.
All I'm saying is that we should let people do what they want to do. And if it doesn't match what we're looking for or what our expectations are, we move on. But we don't have the right to cast stones for everybody. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Very true. Agree.
When someone's up front with you and they go ahead and let you know, that's your chance to say, well, whether you want to deal with it or not.
I hear you. I hear you. Perfect. Thank you for joining us, Candice, on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. That was fun.
You see, Candice was the other.
Why I wanted them separated.
She was
spicy. I love it.
Candice was the other shit starter on the panel that I was not supposed to sit by her, according to Neci. You see why?
You see what y'all missed? You see why y'all need to be at the next same difference.
That Diaz slipped out real quick.
Hey.
Woo.
Hey, we got the same mom. We got the same mom. Speaking of which,
he dropped that private school training one time. Go ahead.
I love the energy and I love the vibe of the Same Difference and Friends event. That was really something unique. It was very special. You guys hosted it in Levels. What was the vibe, Neci, that you got from hosting it at Levels? Because Levels is on his own beat, is on his own thing. So what was the vibe you picked up there from hosting there? How did you feel? Comfortable? Awkward? What?
I was very comfortable with the setup. I think that the owner was very accommodated. He was very welcoming to us and hearing us out, and we met with him and discussed what we wanted to do. And he was very much on board and supportive of how he can support us. He's very big on that. Based on the type of events that they have there, I can see he's very much into giving those opportunities to institutions or businesses that might not have a platform to use venues, and he's very accommodating for that. So big up to Kamal for that. We appreciated that very much. But I like the intimacy of what it created. And it was upstairs and downstairs. There were people upstairs and there were people were behind me. I like that we were separate from the bar, so it wasn't interfering with the flow of the conversation. So I did like the space that we were using.
Love it, love it, love it. So true. Levels. Shout out to Levels, y'all. Shout out to Levels in very accommodating, very spacious space. I only remember Levels from the phone parties they used to have. So if you remember those, and I'm back in the day, yeah, those are fun. And so I love Levels.
You don't
Great.
remember those? You don't know what those, John? No.
I didn't used to get out.
Yeah. I did.
I think I might have been gone by then, really.
The phone
Okay.
parties. Yeah, the phone parties. The phone parties was dope. Shout out to Levels again. Great.
Are you saying phone is a PHONE or phone FOAM?
FOAM.
Like
That sounds fun.
Was that?
I said that sounds fun, but it's giving if your clothes got dyed, don't go.
No, it was incredible. It was incredible. I remember dancing on this girl and she dove into the foam. And you know, when those songs come on, say get down low. So the women challenge the fellas, right? So the ladies get down low, and then as a guy, you gotta get down with her. So I'm going, and then all of a sudden she get deep in the foam, and I thinking I'm holding on. I gonna cheat, right? And a dude came up. And my girl down at the end of the club, she done swam to the end of the fucking levels with the thing. So that was job done for me. That was a bad, but Levels, shout out to Levels, give it up to them. But that was great night otherwise. Great.
Okay. Yeah, they need to bring them back. It sounds like
the phone parties were incredible at Levels. So shout out again to them.
That's what's up.
We have another clip. This was brought to you by I believe Candice. Candice had this discussion to say about we need to evolve and we need to level up in relationships and as a people. So I'm gonna play that clip here and you guys tell me what you think about it. This was
the way, and we need to evolve, because just because you see something, that's your perception, that's your reality, that doesn't make it the truth.
So here's my thing. Which is more reasonable? That you can change the culture in the Virgin Islands of dating, or that you can maintain a standard in your own relationship?
Worry about home first.
So which one is more important now that we watched that clip? Which one is more important to y'all, Jah and Neci?
For context, dating is abysmal in the Virgin Islands. We need context on that. Like there are not as many options for dating and stuff like that, and it's not really a thing. Home, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you meet somebody that you like, you end up in a situationship, you start doing Netflix and chill, and then you make a baby. So it's like there are many times I've heard women in their 30s and stuff with multiple children already, and they're saying they've never been on a date ever. So it's bad. So for context, that's where that came from, right? But for me, it's important that you set a standard of what you're willing to allow and what you need from the jump, right? If you want dating, do not be with people that don't date you. Like that's where the complaining comes in, because when you hear of someone's past relationships and they're like, oh, I like romance, I like poems, I like this, that, and the third. Every dude you've been with sold drugs. I'm sure you didn't get no poems. You get what I'm saying? Like, why are you dating people that don't date? Why are you messing with guys that aren't romantic? Why are none of your exes romantic if you like romance? You get what I'm saying? So set the standard. And I'm gonna say this, and it's controversial, but women. If y'all whenever y'all have these conferences and councils, meetings that y'all have, this little sisterhood of traveling panties that y'all got, when y'all get together and have that meeting, please agree that you want men to date and to court you, and we'll have no choice but to do it. If you don't allow men access to you that don't date you, we can't do nothing else. The only other thing they're gonna do is find a man. So I'm gonna leave it right there.
I get what you're saying. Basically, you're advising that we all need to be on the same page. We need to let you guys, let the people know that we're dating, if that's what we want, so there's no confusion.
Seems simple to me.
That's why I didn't go to clubs. I didn't go to clubs except the phone party. The phone party was one. But
You see,
I was about
you
to
literally
sing.
let her get away.
I was
You literally
about to
let her get away.
sing.
but yeah, I appreciate transparency on the same difference. So there's same difference in Friends. We're talking about the same difference in Friends. If you're just tuning in, we are interviewing the hostesses of Same Difference podcast, and they just had an event in the Virgin Islands. St. Croix, big up to the Virgin Islands Same Difference podcast. They just had an event, a really incredible event, really powerful event on St. Croix in the Virgin Islands on the last week of April. And it was absolutely stupendous, incredible. You needed to be there. You really need to be there. And so I've said this on a previous podcast, on their podcast, actually, is I like transparency. Tell me what it is, right? Tell me what it is. I don't want to assume. I don't want to guess in a relationship. Right. Tell me what it is, right? If you coming over to the house to F, then say that's what we doing, right? Don't let me to assume and then I'm dead wrong.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with it.
You over there assuming that you rated G for the night and she thinking something else.
Exactly. Which I'm always gonna be a gentleman. I'm always gonna do the gentlemanly thing. And I got blasted for a second until Jah saved his boy. Jah came in and saved his brother from the crowd because they were like, you are dummy. That girl was in your bed naked and she wanted it. I said, no, that's not what she led with. She led with, hey, I'm drunk. I'm at the club.
Yeah.
Can I crash at your house to sober up? Nowhere in that sentence was sex mentioned. And so she came over, wore what she wore. I turned on the heat, got her a warm blanket, made her some tea. Gave her some bread to suck up the alcohol in her system, and she crashed on the bed. And she stayed on the bed, buck naked, whatever she was wearing, lingerie she had on. In the morning, she had on lingerie, but she stayed there, and I didn't touch her. So everybody called me a dummy.
In the morning, she had a lingerie. She came in the lingerie.
She had the lingerie underneath what she was wearing.
She had plain. No, I'm a hush. No,
you see,
no,
you
say,
see?
Say,
no.
Hey, I already had it. I'm ready. I am ready.
I don't want to put assumptions in there in any way because we don't know where her mind was at. We don't know if she wore it up under there just to feel sexy for herself going out. I don't know. I don't want to make no assumptions. I'll leave it like that.
So
no, that wasn't making an assumption. It's how he said it. Like when she woke up, she was in lingerie. So I'm asking to clarify. Like that's how she came dressed to the club, or I guess she transitioned after. I'm not saying that he did the wrong thing because I think he did the right thing. I'm just asking for clarity. She need to go in the shower though, because you can't come in my bed from the club and lay down and sleep. But she drunk, so okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Shower beforehand.
Couch. She could couch sleep, but bed.
Yeah. And this was on a Freaky Friday episode, and they were going in on him. And it's like, you technically, if a person is drunk, they can't consent. And what if he had went ahead and gave her what she wanted, but never actually asked for or said it? She could have regretted the experience. And then it would have been like, hey, I was drunk. I woke up. This happened. And all of the eyes would have then been like, what were you doing, sir?
Mm-hmm.
So I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
So he's protecting her and herself, which is great. He was protecting her and himself, which is great.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that very much.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Again, we are here. This is Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube business page, everywhere. Audible, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast, you can check this episode out. This is Same Difference Podcast. We got the hostesses with the mostesses on the show tonight, and we are talking about the recent event that they just had, Same Difference in Friends. And they had a dynamic cast, a dynamic panel. Trigger warning, I'm going to play another clip from that night. And that I love the conversations that we had throughout the event, because we touched on things, and my dad cussed me out. He's like, why are you talking about this? Because we need to, right? We can't heal, we can't improve, we can't do better in the dating realm unless we talk about it, because not talking about it is not the answer. So here's the clip. Here's what we're going to play here.
And the broken family, the fatherless children that are product of these situations. You know, I have a friend, you know, in the mountain of Yara getting through something. But I can't heal from gonorrhea. I can't heal from syphilis. Those things are uncurable. And I never want to experience that kind of pain. I'm good. I'll cry. So that's just me. You didn't get my permission to sleep with someone else? Don't violate me. That is a direct violation of my body. I should be able to you know, I don't. But that's like trigger warning. Should I care for that question? Warning, trigger warning.
Oh, because I just felt really triggered just now. But here's the thing: I don't care about physical cheating. You can physically cheat all you want to. That don't bother me. And that's why I said it's no written rule for anything, right? Because if you cheat with me emotionally, if you could turn to that person, if you're having a bad day or having a good day, and before you come to me that's a bigger deal.
The question there was, what's worse, emotional or physical cheating? And we know because people love to correct you. We know all those things are curable. All right.
So that's important to talk about. I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't think we talk about the things that we need to talk about to help save a life, right? Even though they're curable, we need to talk about them. We need to bring them to the forefront of conversations so that we can have them. And those are the things that, you know, again, I get blasted for. It's like, why are you talking about this? Why are you bringing this up? Because no one else is, or no one else wants to, because it hurts. And so we got to talk about the difficult conversations, and we got to say how we feel. Say how you feel. If you listen, I don't do this because this is real. I don't want to do this. I don't believe in this. And we're going to talk about sex. I think as a parent, parents should talk about the hard stuff to their kids. And I think we need to talk about those things a little bit earlier, even. I think the sooner the better. Obviously, if you're still watching Sesame Street, I'm not talking to you about sex at that point. But we need to talk about it earlier and sooner when it comes to relationships and expectations and dating. Yes. What are you guys' thoughts?
I definitely agree that you need to talk to your children earlier about that, because these, like we talked about earlier, these days with social media, it's social media and even other children around them. It's going to get to them quicker than we can. They're going to be with them quite often more than us, because they got to be at school, 8 hours at the least. And if they have after school programs, they're still going to be around their peers. So we have to get to them. I'd rather us get to them first. I'd rather us get to them first and be honest with them, and, you know, step by step, and talk to them. So they're not approached by their peers like, girl, you know, I saw this on social media, and me and this guy, we're doing this now, and it's happening as young as 10, 9, 8. It's happening.
Yeah, I agree with Carmia. Eons ago, I did a health class. I was like a health I forget what it was called, but a health sexual counselor. We used to go speak to the different kids to schools about sexual, experiences and things like that, protection, different things. And some of the statistics that we had back then was frightening to me. And that was more than 10, 15 years ago, I believe. So I could only imagine what the statistics are now. And what I can say specifically here in the Virgin Islands, a few years ago, when I was at my doing my physical exam, the doctor she was kind of like a little down, and I was like, what's up? And she's like, she says the statistics here for chlamydia is so high. She said one of every 3 or 4 students that come in for testing is positive with chlamydia. It's spreading that quickly in the Virgin Islands. And that was like about 2 years ago. But after COVID, it was after COVID. So just imagine the amount of people that don't go to get tested, or even checkups on a regular, the kind of impact that would have in a community. And you don't always have symptoms. You don't know you have it until maybe you do have symptoms or you spread it. And then I'm a big advocate too for talking to your kids. I have 3 kids. I talk to my kids very in depth about sex, the sexual experience, their body. I bought a whole book. I bought a book off of Amazon that had all the body parts and the images and what it looks like, the names of the parts so that they know what the parts are. the functions of the parts from an early age, because like Carmia says, they're going to learn these things one way or the other. The one thing that you don't want them to learn is this information that they're using and weaponizing it in the incorrect way. If they have the correct information, even though it's being spread, they know that, okay, well, you're kind of on the right path, but this isn't really correct. There was a survey done on TikTok the other day when they was asking guys, like, can you pee with a tampon on? Can women pee with tampons on? And the answers was frightening. And I'm like, these people should not be intimate. Because if you don't even know the difference between where a tampon is and where a woman pees, you shouldn't be intimate. So it's like, though there's a very big gap in education, everyone knows where the penis goes and where the vagina is and how that works. But anything else about the process, it's just like brain fog. And we're just allowing these kids to continually roam with no information and thinking that they're going to just figure it out when they really aren't. And it's really scary. And I think we need to make sure we start at home and with our community as best as possible and those around us, and make sure people are self-aware. It's very scary out here.
That's facts. That is facts. That's huge. We got to talk about to you guys. I've heard this conversation. We've about drinking, right? I rather my kids drink at home than drink out in friends, especially their first drink when they become of age. But I recently went to a friends of mine's house not recently, but a year ago, went to their house, and their kids are in college. They have 3 boys. The boys come home, and when the boys walk through the door, they're like, what do you want to drink? Wine, a beer? And I'm like, I can't even cuss around my dad. Like, how you and I talked to them to get their thoughts as parents behind it. And they said, oh, they've been drinking with their kids for years to get them ready and get them accustomed to that. But they rather them drink with them than find out the first time out in the world. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I'm a newer age parent, so yeah, I kind of agree with that to an extent, because I would rather their first experience be at home where it's safe than them to find out and binge with friends the first time when anything could happen. So yes, but the conversation needs to be had also, because for me, drinking, it's almost more dangerous than drugs because it's easier to attain. You get what I'm saying? So we need to have the conversation about both. And I think, yeah, I would prefer my children to drink with me, because I remember my first experience. I remember I learned a lot of stuff through peers, and that is not the way that you want to learn, because they're also learning about life in an immature fashion. So that's where I stand.
That's big. That's big. That's big. That's serious. I want to ask, you guys are planning to do this event. Can you spill any tea on what people can expect for the next Same Difference and Friends live in-person event? Can you spill any tea there?
Yes. So the next event is going to be the end of September. You heard from one of the panelists already, Candice, me, and the gentleman is joining us as well. The gentleman is going to be there on the panel. It's going to be a 2-day event. We're currently seeking vendors. So if you want to go ahead and hit us up, it's a 2-day event. So the first day is going to be real conversation surrounding, dating, relationships, love, sex, marriage, all of that. The second day is going to be an intergenerational conversation. We spoke to Healing the Youth. He's on board, depending on what he's doing around that time. So we want to talk to like the older generation, younger generation, get them together, talk about social media, life in the Virgin Islands, what do the older people think about how it is now, what changed, and the younger folks, like, what about education, what happened with the protests last year, stuff like that, and just bring them together, maybe bridge those gaps.
Love it. Love it. Love it. There you have it, y'all. First on the scene. You're hearing it live on Gentleman Style Podcast Show. So clear your calendars, keep them ready, keep them going keep that window open till the end of September of this year. So be on the lookout for flyers, events, and promotion from your favorite hostesses all around, everybody on the show tonight. I love it. I love it. Y'all are beautiful. Y'all are beautiful. This is powerful for me. I love doing this kind of stuff. I love talking about it. Carmia, anything you want to say to this event, because you also speak at events, you've hosted events, especially as a model. So what do you think about events like this? Are they necessary for the community? I feel they are.
It's definitely necessary, especially for, I don't know if you guys grew up with it in this type of culture where you have you deal with certain family, you know, a family dynamic that kind of like, what's the word? They talk to you about certain things, but not everything that you need to know. They just keep you kind of like sheltered because if like, oh, she don't need to know that, she'll get there when she get older. No, they need to get it now. And some of us are getting it while we're older, and we're like, we need to talk about this so we can pass this down so the people behind us don't make the same mistakes that we did. Or we need to get better where we are, because we still have to get older. We still got to get older. We have to still bridge better relationships with each other, better dynamics with each other, whether it's relationship or friendships.
Love it. Love it. So true. Y'all got to come out, support the thing. That's what Same Difference Coin. Support the thing. Come out to these events. These events are absolutely necessary. They help. They inspire. I want to say this. I'm only coming if Neci gonna bring the glasses again. That's all I'm asking. I just got the one request.
Neci moderate. Well, she don't have a choice. She can't see.
What?
Oh, she need the glasses. That's all right. They look good. They look good, girl. They look good, girl.
Why you put me on blast like this? Why you doing me like this?
Wait.
I just thought they were designer frames, honey. I thought it was the designer frames, and she was just here to look good. I left it like it is.
She has pairs on pairs. Like, it is insane. Like, we had the event, and then the next day we had lunch together, and it was like she had a different pair for
you see the wall.
occasion.
You see the wall.
Hey.
I love it. That's my one request.
They see you moderating or what?
To be continued. To be
so
determined.
Currently seeking a moderator.
I think Neci will do it. I think she'll do it. She is incredible. You all are incredible. I thank you all for doing what you're doing, taking the time out of your busy schedules to come back home to the Virgin Islands, go back home to the Virgin Islands and give back in this way. Because that's what it is. It's giving. It's giving, and it's helping, and it's changing lives. It's changing the mindsets of a community. Same Difference in Friends. Love it, y'all. Any last nuggets that you guys want to leave for the audience here on the Gentleman Style, our audience here?
Ladies first.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank you for having us on the show to recap the show. We appreciate the time that you're making the time in your schedule to have us. We look forward to more engaging conversation with you. Ooh, we got a call.
What? All right.
I love it. The last call.
The last caller. What happened?
Press 1.
The call is coming from in the house, y'all.
Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Who do we have on the line, and where you from?
You got Daren from St. Croix, also known as Day Like Daren.
Dating Like Daren, panelists coming to the live. Sir, oh my God. Welcome. What you guys say, sir? What you guys say to the people?
I mean, the live podcast was incredible. I think we had a good time. Even though Neci's a Virgo, she did a damn good job as a moderator. I think we just had a good time, honestly speaking.
I love it.
They love to hate us, and we love it.
Dating Like Daren, y'all. He was also on the panel. Has had some great topics of discussion. He was there. He was. I think everybody had some liquor. I think everybody was drinking.
Yeah.
So,
what was your favorite?
I was drinking Palma and tequila. So,
Jesus. I mean, great for you. What was your favorite part of the event? What was your favorite part of the event?
My favorite part of the event.
that you got to
I
sit
feel
next
like
to
I got
Lotus
another one.
Flowerbomb?
Oh yeah, that's my girl. That's my home girl, man. We go back a few years, So yeah, it was good catching up with her. I mean,
For the streets.
I was familiar with I was I was familiar with everybody in the panel. So it was just like having a natural conversation that I already have with them on a regular basis. So it just came natural. But I will say, Marcus, I don't like the fact that you called me ace for the street because I do date multiple women.
What you guys say? The confrontation is real.
I hear you. I hear you. That works.
Lean into the gummy, Marcus. Lean into the gummy.
What is my real problem with?
What's the real problem with dating multiple people?
Okay. So 2 big points. The first point I kind of touched on earlier, right? The first so the first point I touched on earlier, which is in the age where you can get, especially during COVID. Yes, I'm not saying that people are having sex with every encounter, but you are touching, you are hugging, you are in the proximity of someone else that I may or may not know. And so in the world of diseases and connection, you may not kiss that person or be intimate with that person, but that person, I can't imagine if they're dating you for any extended period of time, may not want to hold your hand, may not want to hug you, may not want to play with you if y'all go do whatever event. And so on that note, I don't agree with dating multiple people at the same time, because you are in proximity with someone that I do not know. And I don't care to know, and I don't want that added on to there. No matter what you're doing with them. The second big point is my bigger point, which is, let's say you're dating 4 people at the same time. If you believe in a monogamous relationship, which
I've done that before.
So okay, you are dating multiple people. You're dating 4 women at the same
area
time.
Codes. All right.
You dating?
Wait, you know what?
So, no. You're dating 4. No,
yeah.
You're dating 4 people at the same time. So, if you believe in a monogamous relationship and you intend to get married one day, then you can only marry one of them. So that means you are going to break 3 hearts and release those hearts back into the dating pool. You're going to release those hearts back into the dating pool. And that's the problem. That's the problem that we're having in relationships, because those 3 hearts that you have now released back into the dating pool have wasted their time with you because you did not choose them. And now guess what they're not going to do in the next relationship? They're not going to do all the things that they've done with you because you did not choose them. And now they're back in the dating pool. And that's why you have this problem of people seeing inconsistencies. Why the men aren't doing this? Why aren't women doing this? Because they did that for somebody else and it didn't choose them. I did all of that for you, especially women. Women are giving, they're having your children, and you still didn't marry them. That's a waste of that young woman's time. That's a waste of that man's time. And you have now released those people back into the dating pool. So guess what they're not going to do? That's why you have pregnant women with 1 or 2 kids, and then they tell you they're celibate. Why? Because they wasted their time with someone who did not choose them. And so that's my bigger point into dating multiple people, because you're breaking hearts as you release those people if you believe in a monogamous relationship.
I think Neci has something to say on that point.
Absolutely.
That could happen without multiple dating. That is the reality that most people face, is the time that they invested in a person and then realizing after the fact that it didn't work out, whether it's 1 or multiple. If you're dating multiple people to be monogamous, more than likely within the first 2 months, you're probably in the process of elimination anyway, because it takes a person at least a few months to show their real self. And then like, that's not for me. Now, if you're dragging on 4 people for like a long period of time, that's where I have a problem with the situation. But if you're dating and you're like, okay, you know what, it's 3 months and, Marcus seems like a really good guy, but he don't have his stuff together. Jah too busy roaming the streets. He always seems like there's some other woman around. Like, you see things, and then you start to create a process of elimination. You focus on someone that you have a better connection with. But as a woman, you could date a person singularly for a while, have that kid or two, and that relationship ruined your life, and you still make the same choices that you're saying is the reason why you don't let people who multi date. It doesn't matter. Your reasons is your reasons, but the reasons that you're giving aren't valid because it is a reality in the monogamous dating world. So that's the reality for monogamous daters. So really, I mean, it's your reason, but it's not valid. Sorry, not sorry.
If I could tap in, if I could tap in, right? So me and Daren were talking to a mutual friend one time, and we were speaking about dating multiple people for the same reason. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because you could end up liking someone and skipping over red flags and stuff like that. That usually happens when you date one person because you like them and you don't have any other options. You try to pursue something against your better judgment. And if we really think, if you've only dated one person at a time, think over your lifetime, how many years is that you've used? And so the girl said at the time, I just can't do it. I can't date more than one person. When I like you, that's it. My next question was, how's that been working out for you? She got quiet. You know why? Because she's still single. So you're single, you've had children, you've probably been married, all this stuff. Not saying that you've done anything wrong, but it's not working, right? But you're unwilling to try this other thing that will use less time. Because if you really play eliminate for real, you won't waste any time with these people. From the time you see those flags, you're dropping them. So which one wastes more time? Dating one person for 6 weeks, dating four and getting rid of three in 3 weeks. Dating one completely for months, and then you might pop up pregnant because you've been having unprotected sex from this one person, and now you're locked in for a lifetime. Now you're upset. Now, which one really wastes more time? Think about it.
So I didn't waste time when I would date. I have literally never met some of the women that I was talking to and getting to know. And I purged them early. So that is the other piece that I did not mention about myself. When I used to date, I did not date and waste your time. I didn't go months of getting to know you. I can tell just by our conversation on the first encounter. I have dated very few women on a first date and even less women on a second date. Very few women in my lifetime has made it to a second date with me. And so I am very selective, and we need to be better at our selection process so you don't waste one person's time for months on end. So that's how I've solved that issue. I don't need to date 4 women at the same time to expedite, especially financially. Dating multiple women for most men is not even sensible financially. Because you got to pick, that's 3 different Valentines. What the hell you going to do on Valentine's Day?
3 different Valentines?
Why are we doing this?
Anyway, we talking about dating the gentleman style. That's why that like coffee dates are a thing as well. You know what I'm saying?
So one
let
woman
me
is
get a different viewpoint.
Sure.
So let me say this, right? And this is for somebody who has dated. I'm not gonna give it a number, but a good amount of women, right?
For the streets.
So, first of all, I don't.
He definitely not on the sidewalk with this.
Very responsible and monogamous way. So anyways, back to what I was going to say. I don't ever view a dating experience as a waste of time. So for me, like I take from every experience and I use it as learn and I apply it to the next dating experience, right? So that's number one. I don't view any dating experience as a wasted experience. Number two, similar to what John was saying, right? Let's say, you like I say, the thing we tend to do sometimes in the dating world, right? You focus on this one person, right? You're gonna spend time, you're gonna get to know the person, you're gonna ask questions, you're gonna get somewhat intimate, right? And then, because the thing that people tend to do a lot is that they put the best foot forward. They give you the representation of themselves, the best part of it, right? So at some point, that's going to start to wither, and then you'll start to see the red flags. What people have a tendency to do is when they start seeing the red flags, but they already made these investments, they tend to see it through because they're like, all right, I already spent these weeks, these months, whatever. I'm gonna see it through. So that after they ignore the red flags, and then when you ignore red flags, you're gonna end up, the ship is gonna crash, right? You're gonna get yourself hurt. So the reason why, like what John was saying, that he talks to his daughters, and what I also implement is I do date multiple until there's the exclusivity part where I actually literally vet and I narrow it down to one particular person, which is what I do. So now if you go to the essence of what a date is the essence of a date is two people getting to know each other and figuring out if it can work. Some form of level of compatibility. Like you said, sometimes it's a date, sometimes it's two, maybe it's more, but eventually you're gonna figure out if you do your due diligence that this person you're compatible. You have some level of compatibility, right? So in itself, that's a vetting process. So the point is not to just have multiple women and just date them for years. It was, hey, let me have these experiences, see who's the best out of this group. Sometimes it may not be even all of them. You might vet all of them out of the process, but you're just trying to find who's the most compatible, and you go from there. So that's what I personally encourage anybody who's going to the dating. Try out for multiple. Now you might have, not everybody has the same wiring and the capabilities of doing 3 or 4, but at least you could do 2. You could do 2. It ain't that hard to split time, especially if we're all working people.
Not doing
it's
it.
Fun.
Sir.
It's
not
fun.
Doing it, sir. Not doing it.
Well, maybe
that's your wiring, but I'm saying if somebody were to ask me, and I've given advice, date multiple people. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Because like I said, a lot of people do come with a representative, and sometimes you get in too deep. And when you're in too deep, you kind of ignore red flags, and that's how you end up getting hurt more.
I hear you, sir. Thank you. That is Dating with Daren, coming to you live on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. That is unique. Thank you, brother, for being on the show. That was so we were closing out. Any final words from our panelists here tonight about Same Difference and Friends? You guys gotta be there at the end of September. Check it out. Any final words? You guys have dropped so much nuggets and so much tea tonight. Neci, any advice for the audience?
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We hopefully look forward to seeing you tuning into our show and also to our next live podcast event. See you there.
Love it. Final words from Jah.
All right. Like Neci said, thank you for having us on. We appreciate it. Couple shout outs to Kevin Allen, to Lotus Flowerbomb, Candice Cave, Bambi, thanks for coming to the show. Everybody that came to the show, really. Date Like Daren, thank you so much. Bianca and Wilbur Francis, thank you for coming. The next one is, like we said, end of September. So look out for the flyers and everything else. Catch us on Facebook, Same Difference, on IG at Same Difference 2022, and TikTok is same_difference_pod. YouTube is at VI_very_own. Thank you guys so much. It's been a great conversation. We're looking to smash the next one. We're looking for it to be a great turnout, and please go ahead and send us any topics that you'd like to speak on. The tickets are not going to be expensive. We ain't going to break your pockets. Come check us out. As for the dating thing, do basically what works for you. Keep in mind, it has to work for you. If it's not working, it's okay to try something else. All right. That's basically it.
Love it. Carmia, any words to our lovely audience for tuning in?
As I say all the time, is like keep taking care of each other. These conversations need to be had. We have to stop being scared and afraid of these conversations. Because even as adults, there's some things that we are struggling with that we shouldn't be. So let's have these conversations and we can all get our word in. Let's be nice to each other while we do it.
Love it. I can't come behind any of these fantastic people. You all heard it. They gave their final nuggets. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for going crazy with us. And be at the next event. I can't say it enough. Join in. Come out to the next event. Meet your host. Shake hand. Well, don't shake my hand. But come out and be a part of the network. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Like I end every show, take care of your friends and take care of your family. And always, always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and
call me a Wells, an unorthodox Southern Belle.
And
Ja.
He's definitely Neci.
Definitely Neci. We love it. Love it. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Peace.